So Ohio State earned a commitment from Kari Wilder, edge player, high level, mid level 4-star player who I think is potentially freakishly athletic. 6'4", 260 pounds. He's from California. Ohio State right now in their 2026 recruiting class has 3 players from California. You have Chris Henry Jr., Caden Dixon Wyatt, so 2 players from modern day, wide receivers, both of them. You know, it's the Brian Hartline experience. You ace your wide receivers not just in recruiting but in evaluation. I swear he might be one of the better position coaches, if not potentially the best position coach of the 21st century. Certainly up there all time as well. And I think after this season, when Carnell Tate gets drafted in the first round, I think that his legendary status will be further solidified. But we're not talking about wide receiver. I just brought them up because it's significant, this Kari Wilder commit is, because he's also from California. And USC has recently done a pretty good job of putting up more of a fence around California. Oregon's recruited well in California recently. And while California isn't as dominant in talent as it used to be, it still produces a lot of talent. And it's good to see that Ohio State is recruiting still at a national level on the defensive line. Their defensive line recruiting is, I would think, fallen off recently. And this commitment from Wilder certainly doesn't get them back to the standard they need to. But Matt Patricia was involved in this recruitment, and it paid off. I think that Matt Patricia, and this is coming from someone who views Matt Patricia as certainly a risky hire at defensive coordinator, a lot of reasons for optimism, but we'll see how it pans out. He has benefited Ohio State tremendously in recruiting. Tremendously. He's better than Jim Knowles there, for sure. And I think that Wilder, when you look at his film, he's violent. He's big for an edge player. Certainly weight and being undersized or anything like that won't be a problem. And he's fast, too. Very twitchy. Definitely someone who can level up as time goes on. A lot of potential there. And I think a great addition to this Ohio State recruiting class, where you look at it, 15 hard commits. A great majority of them, including Wilder, have shut down their commitment for good. 2 5-stars, 11 4-stars, 2 3-stars. They have as many 5-stars as 3-stars. And I wouldn't be shocked if that remains to be the case as this class continues to grow. Wouldn't be shocked at it at all. They have a 92.96 average rank per commit, which is the second highest in the nation, only behind Alabama. And Alabama right now is the 50th ranked recruiting class because they have 6 commits. Typically, Alabama started slow under Nick Saban, did the same thing under Kalen DeBoer. And Ohio State, I know, they start faster in the recruiting process for their classes. But still, it's impressive. And they're only behind USC, who has 13 more commits than they do. So USC is far ahead of everyone else when it comes to commits. And they have a 91.55 average rank per recruit. So they're recruiting higher quality than they ever have and also higher quantity. But Ohio State has a better quality class than USC does. And Ohio State is in play for a variety of 5-stars. Wilder isn't a 5-star, but a very important addition nonetheless. So I wanted to focus on that and then move on to some guys on the board for Ohio State. And Ohio State's board is huge. I mean, this is traditionally a top 3 recruiting program every year. We're at worst 3rd or maybe 4th ranked class, but at worst 3rd or even 2nd in terms of average rank per recruit, and at best 1st. Now, Oregon, Texas, USC are guys who are contending for that who previously didn't. And they're contending for it not on a, USC, I think in 2016 or 17 had a top 5 recruiting class, but that wasn't sustainable, wasn't consistently possible under Clay Helton. It is with this staff and Riley and the alignment they have with NIL. Barring Riley succeeds and they keep the donors engaged. Oregon and Texas's spending and recruiting, I think, is absolutely sustainable. Beyond so. And we know Ohio State recruiting will never be a weakness. It's the same with Alabama. It's the same with Georgia. So you have more guys fighting for that number 1 recruiting class every year. So it's harder. And yet, despite that, Ohio State is warm with Felix Ojo, with Xavier Griffin, with Braylon Womack, Darius Gray, Savion Hyder, Tyler Atkinson, players like Carter Meadows and Derek Cooper, who could be 5 stars at the end of it all. Same with John Turrentine. A lot of offensive tackles. That's Felix Ojo. That's Turrentine. Darius Gray's an interior offensive lineman. Xavier Griffin, linebacker. Braylon Womack, safety. Jet Washington is someone who they want, I believe, but listed as cool per 24/7 Sports. Same with Lamar Brown. But Tyler Atkinson, they're listed as warmer for him. They're in strong contention with him along with Georgia, and then Oregon, Clemson, and Alabama are other schools that he's interested in. He visited Oregon this past weekend. It'd be a huge get for the Ducks if they get him. It'd also be a huge get for James Laurinaitis in Ohio State if they were able to land a player of the caliber of Tyler Atkinson. So this Ohio State class, I ask you, if you haven't already, to comment down below and to answer this question specifically. Do you think this Ohio State recruiting class, can it be as good as the 2021 class? That 2021 class was legendary. And I know recruiting doesn't work that way. And also, depending on how this year finishes for Ohio State 2025, unless they win it all again and repeat, I think the vast majority of their starters are coming back. And that, combined with roster limitations and the fact that players do want playing time, means that maybe they can't sign a class of the size or caliber, so on, that the 2021 class had. Just because of how college football is different now than it was back in 2020 when that class was being assembled. But regardless, there's a lot of elite players who could be generational, several of them on the board. And I think Ohio State has a really good chance of landing them. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 5-stars who are on Ohio State's board and listed as warm. I think Ohio State is certainly going to land 2 of those guys, bringing their number of 5-stars at least up to 4, and I could see them landing 3. I could see them landing 4. Maybe in a universe where the balls bounce Ohio State's way and they out-recruit everyone, which it's hard to do because it's hard for one program to out-recruit a bunch of other elite programs, but it's possible. We've seen it before. Maybe they'll land 5 or 6 of them, and right there you're talking about one of the better classes by a good chunk in recent memory. Right there, especially on defense, where Ohio State has 2 5-star linebackers they're going after, a safety, and then also a good class for offensive line and Darius Gray and Felix Ojo and Savion Hyder. If they land him along with the running back that they also have in their class, forget his name escapes me, but 4-star player, good, from Ohio. I'm not satisfied with just saying that, so I'm going to look him up right now. Favor Aki, who is a 3-star per 24/7 Sports, 4-star according to the composite, will definitely be a 4-star per 24/7 Sports by the end of the 2025 high school football season. So you have it right there. You heard it here. This Ohio State class is on fire. There's a really good chance it could be one of the better and more balanced Ohio State classes in recent memory, especially with how Bowen has done on the offensive line in recruiting and how it seems like with Patricia being involved on defense and Laurinaitis being as good of a recruiter as he is, that there's a chance they can recruit better at linebacker and DB than they have before, or at least better at linebacker. This past cycle's DB class for Ohio State was pretty good. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe, hit the bell. Usually do this earlier in the video, but since it's at the end, may as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.